What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Worlds Collides with me, the kid JW, and of course, Ms Diva Talks.
What's up, y'all?
Now, this channel is called, this video is coming from a channel called WNY Coasters. Okay? Now, as the name says, it's about roller coasters. And
I like roller coasters.
I like theme parks, not coasters. But it's pretty fun because this video, you know, I know a couple of things on how one of them, and it's kind of a bitter history between these two. Video's called How Cedar Fair, owner of Cedar Point and Kings Island and Michigan Adventures, became, you know,
Better than Six Flags?
Never been to a Six Flags park. So.
Me either.
But I think there was one in like Illinois somewhere, I think.
Either way, I've never been.
Yeah. But without further ado, let's jump on into it.
Six Flags and Cedar Fair are the two largest amusement park chains in North America. These two chains are constantly compared by roller coaster enthusiasts due to this fact. However, the majority of coaster enthusiasts seem to think that Cedar Fair is a superior chain. Cedar Fair is known for adding higher quality roller coasters than Six Flags does in the modern era, and their parks are known to be of better quality. However, Six Flags does have many qualities that coaster enthusiasts seem to like. For one, Six Flags offers a cheap season pass for only about $50 that allows you to get into all of their parks. To get access to all Cedar Fair parks, that will cost you upwards of $200. Six Flags also has 8 parks that have over 10 roller coasters. At one point in time, Six Flags was much larger than Cedar Fair and boasted way more notable parks to their name. So today, we'll be taking a look at how Cedar Fair jumped Six Flags on the theme park chain pyramid, and is widely considered to be the way more successful chain of the two. Before we get into this video, make sure to give this video a like. It is the easiest way to help support the channel and helps me in my weekly fight against the YouTube algorithm. I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I post amusement park content weekly and you won't want to miss any of it. I also have a lot of cool plans for this upcoming season, so you won't want to miss any of those as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. First, let's start off some background knowledge about how these chains were formed. The story of Six Flags starts off in the 60s, with Six Flags over Texas being the first park they ever built. Six Flags then built another park called Six Flags over Georgia in 1967, followed by another park called Six Flags over Mid-America in 1971. After building up these parks, Six Flags decided to resort to acquiring parks from other owners. In 1975, they acquired Astroworld in Houston, Texas. In 1977, they acquired Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. And in 1979, they acquired Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. In 1984, they acquired Great America in Gurnee, Illinois. That same year, they acquired the rights to Looney Tunes so they could put their theming and characters in their parks. Switching over to Cedar Fair. Cedar Point opened as a recreational area in 1870 and was managed by the Cedar Point Pleasure Company. In 1978, Cedar Point Pleasure Company acquired Valley Fair and renamed the company to Cedar Fair, combining both parks' names. They then acquired Dorney Park in 1992, Worlds of Fun in 1995, and Knott's Berry Farm in 1997. They also acquired Michigan's Adventure in 2001. Now let's rewind back to the mid to late 1990s, as this is where our story really starts to begin. Rapidly expanding Premier Parks made the bold move to acquire the Six Flags chain and go under their name, as the Six Flags name became very well recognized among the general public. The acquisition of Six Flags by Premier Parks resulted in a super chain being formed. Premier added the Six Flags name to parks like Darien Lake, Kentucky Kingdom, Elitch Gardens, Marine World, and rebranded Adventure World as Six Flags America. They also rebranded Geauga Lake into Six Flags Ohio and later Six Flags World's Adventure.
So, funny story about that. So, for those people who live in Ohio, Central Ohio to be more exact, Six Flags. So Six Flags sold Geauga Lake to Cedar Point. Now this happened about
Right.
a couple years before I came and started working there, and that was probably one of the worst decisions where a lot of people in that city, in that part of the state, still hate Cedar Point to this day because they hate them so much that they won't even go to the parks to Cedar Point or Kings Island because it's like Geauga Lake was the amusement park that was literally between this. And my math might be my direction might be slightly off, but I want to say it gave you basically instead of you driving all the way here to Cedar Point or to Kings Island, it was a part in eastern Ohio.
Okay.
So when Six Flags sold it, Cedar Point basically, or Cedar Fair basically went through, gutted the whole, because it was split. Basically, it was two parks in one. You had the water side. We had the water parks, the Sea World stuff and all that. You had the actual theme parks like the roller coasters and other flat rides. So Cedar Point didn't want competition to their park, so they closed that side of the park off, stripped the rides, moved those rides to either Michigan Adventures or Kings Island or other parks, and then left the water park over for like another couple seasons, and then they just closed that off, and then basically let the land just become desolate
Deteriorating
and whatnot.
Just left
And
it.
then they finally sold part of it off to a developer who's turning it into houses and grocery stores and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
And then for Six Flags, well, they also own the park in New Orleans too. Six Flags over New Orleans, but of course that park was already bad because one, it was outside the city center, far away from the French Quarter, and then two, Hurricane Katrina.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
So I'm sure he'll touch base on that one too, hopefully. If not, I got the history.
When they acquired the SeaWorld Park next door to it. They also converted Riverside Park into Six Flags New England, and they also went international, acquiring parks like Wallaby Flavo and rebranded it into Six Flags Holland and Mexico's Reno Aventura, and rebranded it as Six Flags Mexico. Not only did Six Flags expand a lot in number of parks, they also expanded a lot in the number of roller coasters they added. They added a staggering 21 roller coasters in 1999 and 2000, which is an unprecedented number compared to what most chains add per year nowadays. At this point, Six Flags was much larger than Cedar Fair and way more notable. However, with all these lofty investments that Six Flags was making, problems quickly arose over the following years. Six Flags' descent began in 2004 when they had to start to close properties and sell off properties to help alleviate the chain's growing debt. They sold off all of their European parks, but the even bigger shocker was they sold Six Flags Worlds of Adventure to who else but Cedar Fair. Six Flags Worlds of Adventure was built to directly compete with Cedar Point, and they were selling it to the owners of Cedar Point. Cedar Fair's slow but steady growth strategy had been shown to be very effective at this point when they were able to knock out the competition of Six Flags in the area who had been over-investing in Six Flags Worlds of Adventure. The turmoil continued in 2005 when Hurricane Katrina struck Six Flags New Orleans and forced Six Flags to end up abandoning the park. They also ended up losing a ton of money when they sold off Six Flags Astro World and the park was leveled. In 2006, Six Flags sold off even more parks, with Frontier City, Darien Lake, and the Lich Gardens being the most notable. They also even considered selling off Six Flags Magic Mountain. As Six Flags struggles continued, Cedar Fair was about to make their biggest move.
So, fun fact about this. I saw this video my damn self. But me as a kid, I never went to Cedar Point. That was never our family park. We always went to Kings Island.
And where is Kings Island?
Kings Island is just outside of Cincinnati.
Okay.
But like outside like an hour before the Kentucky border.
All right.
So went to that park, and now all of Kings Island. Now Kings Island was owned by Paramount Parks. Paramount being the movie people, and CBS, Viacom. So when Viacom and CBS merged, they was like, well, we don't need the parks no more because that's not in our what we're looking for. So they sold it to who else? Cedar Point and whatnot. Now Cedar Point, on the other hand, of course, you think they would have learned their lesson from buying the whole Geauga Lakes and Waterside and Wars of Adventure, but no. When they bought these, they rushed through the rebranding because they couldn't use, even though Paramount said, hey, you can still use the theme for the rides and stuff, and you know the logos and stuff.
Yeah.
Cedar Point was like, no, we're just gonna take it all out.
Right. I wouldn't want your stuff there if I'm the owner of it.
So they rushed through the off season and you know gave all the names, you know, basic names and whatnot, and theming and whatnot. I was like, yo, this sucks, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. Cedar Fair purchased the Paramount Parks chain in their 6 parks. Of those parks, they included Kings Island, Kings Dominion, Carowinds, California's Great America, Gilroy Gardens, and Canada's Wonderland. Cedar Fair would heavily invest in all of these parks and made them all into world-class parks by adding B&M Gigas, B&M Hypers, GCIs, and RMCs to some of these parks. While Cedar Fair was slowly growing out their chain and adding new roller coasters fairly frequently, Six Flags went into bankruptcy. Six Flags' stock became so low it got delisted from the New York Stock Exchange. Six Flags then closed Kentucky Kingdom in 2010 and then re-emerged from bankruptcy that same year. 2010 is when Six Flags started to become the discount chain, with names like Jim Reed Anderson and John Duffy receiving prominent roles in the company. During this time, Six Flags looked to invest in smaller attractions from smaller companies. They strayed away from companies like B&M and Intamin in favor of companies like Premier Rides and took a chance on the new RMC. This is the point when Six Flags started to embrace their identity as the discount chain and kept their season pass prices fairly low, while the price of the Cedar Fair Platinum Pass continued to rise with their park's ascent. During this time, Six Flags still struggled financially and took a big hit in 2020 with the COVID-19 pandemic. Six Flags has been rushing to reopen their parks and get as many operating days as possible and do as many events to make as much profit as possible. All the while, the more stable Cedar Fair is holding off on opening their parks so quickly due to their increased season pass sales. Interestingly, Six Flags decided to purchase the operating rights to Frontier City and Darien Lake in 2018. Six Flags also made an offer to purchase Cedar Fair in 2019 that was turned down. These moves were done in an attempt to help alleviate some of the financial issues that the company was having. Six Flags has remained in trouble ever since.
So what's funny about this, because I still have folks who used to work at Cedar Point after I left. Now, what's funny about this was the fact that, I want to say 2019, I was just stopped working, I'm not sure. But, no, I think I've been back since, yeah, whatever. But it was one of those things where Cedar Point also thought about buying Six Flags out too.
That didn't surprise me.
But at the same time, it's because of their debt. They had so much. It was like, no, you're not. Why should we don't want to, buy you out? You have a whole bunch of debt. We got to take that on. Unlike the Paramount chain, it was debt you had to take on, but you could manage it though. And then I know with Six Flags over in New Orleans, they finally settled with the insurance companies and whatnot. They had to sue the city, and the city sued them and whatnot for breach of breaking their lease and whatnot, because they leased the land from the city. And then too, it was just like they said, it was outside the tourist area. So it's like no one, and it's like I always tell people, like, when you go to a city, if you want a theme park, you got to put it in the heart of downtown, like, or at least within like 20 minutes from your downtown.
True.
The French Quarter is what brings people in. Having it in the outskirts of the city, it's not gonna be good. And then, so it's like when you look at it, Cedar Point and whatnot, they had obviously this is from slightly after last year, but obviously Cedar Point, they opened up I think in like July-ish of last year, so they said like 1 or 2 months. And they lost money too because everyone lost money because of the pandemic.
Exactly.
Everything was closed, but it goes to show that like sometimes expanding quickly it's not always good. We saw it with Toys R Us. We saw it with
Kmart.
Well, that's a whole different topic.
Right.
But we saw like when you expand too much, you run into issues and whatnot.
Since the 2000s. On the other hand, Cedar Fair has slowly been improving their parks so they could jump Six Flags on the theme park chain pyramid. Six Flags' financial issues have resulted in them cutting corners at some of their parks and putting advertisements all over everything at their parks. This has resulted in Cedar Fair's parks becoming higher quality than Six Flags' parks because they've had more leeway to make their parks look nicer and have had them run more smoothly. So the real answer to the title of this video is that the rapid expansion that Six Flags endured in the 2000s caused them to become financially unstable for the next 20 years. While Cedar Fair's slow and steady growth plan ended up winning the race. So if there's one takeaway from this video that you should get, is that slow and steady does indeed win the race, at least in the amusement park industry. So I guess slow and steady is able to create speed. You get it because Cedar Fair is able to invest with speedier roller coasters with their slow and steady strategy. Alright, enough of the jokes. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think Cedar Fair is definitely the better chain because of this, or for another reason, or do you think Six Flags is the better chain? Let me know that in the comments below. Just let it be known that I'm not really saying Six Flags is worse for being the discount chain. I'm saying they're being worse for not executing their strategy as good as Cedar Fair did theirs. But anyways, guys, I'd like to thank you all for making it to this point in the video. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this history style kind of video. Also, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. But with all that being said, guys, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.
So, yeah, thoughts?
I mean, I always knew that there was a rivalry between Cedar Point, or Cedar Fair, and Six Flags. I didn't know it was that big of a rivalry.
Yeah, we had to watch that, like, doing, like I said, orientation. Like, they show you the whole history and shit.
Oh, well, yeah, because you worked there.
Yeah, a year, season and a half. It's fun.
What's a season and a half?
So, like one whole season, then, like, half the next season.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So, when does the season start and end?
So, the season's, like, well, we're talking about, like, regular people?
Just in general.
The parks
you work there, so...
Yeah, well, the parks open all year long.
Oh.
So, like, obviously, like, in the off season, once Halloween weekends is in there, last weekend, that's it. All the regular people who do the rides, they done. You know, you see them throughout the whole... Like, once the summer season after Labor Day, that's when you start seeing, like, a lot of people leave. You know, because at that point, the parks don't open on weekends.
Okay.
So you still have some people who work, you know, who stay there, but a lot of the international students, they leave. You know, because the international students, they deal, like, you know, janitorial stuff or, like, housekeeping stuff.
Okay.
You know, so they'll leave, and then you'll have, because that's when their visas expire. And then you have, like, the regular people still stay there, the ones from Michigan, Indiana. We're still stay there, like, in the Halloween weekends. And then once the rides close, that's where the bulk of your staff is gone, because there's no point in keeping you for the season, and you leave. But, like, if you work where I work there, which is park operations, you know, we just had, like, a small staff because, well, the park still has to be clean. You know, and it's like, you know, you still got offices and stuff there that people still work at all year long. You know, the administrative offices are open, so you have people clean those. You know, and then, of course, obviously the dorms and stuff are closed for the season. So you're going through that, cleaning those down and whatnot. You're pulling all the trash cans and rides and cars off the coasters and stuff. So it's like, and then once March, April, you start getting this park ready for the new upcoming season. So it's like,
okay,
you'll see, like, the maintenance people, you know, bringing the cars back from storage, and once they'll start putting them on the tracks, and then you'll start seeing them getting tested, and then, like, 2 weeks, probably, like a month before, like, when March hits, or, like, March, April, well, it's April, May, like, that last couple weeks of April, that's when you start seeing the garbage cans and everything, and all the benches and stuff in the park fully look like it does when you're there. You know, that's why I always tell people, like, once the lights go off at the end of the night, people think, oh, that's it for the park. No, the park's open 24 hours because someone got to clean up after y'all nasty folks. But from what I've always been told from people who went to Six Flags, it's like Six Flags parks, they aren't as clean and whatnot. So you see it has the Walmart look. Like, I would say Cedar Fair is like the Target of theme parks.
And Six Flags is
like
Walmart.
The Walmart. It's like, I would say not even Walmart. I would say like Save-A-Lot.
All right.
Because it's like, it's because it looks like it's discounted. Like, you can, the experience is discounted. Season pass low, $50.
Yeah. That's pretty low.
Yeah. So it's like, you wonder why they're in trouble. It's like, yo, raise your rates. At least raise it to, like, you know, 100. You know.
Yeah.
Cedar Points is, it might be 260 or something, but you're getting that experience
You're paying for the quality.
It's basically like I always tell people, you can pay Comcast for a high cable bill or whatever, but you get better quality than paying the little guys like AT&T or Dish Network. It's like driving an Escalade versus driving, you know, a Chrysler product. Oh shit. You know. But yeah, you want to take us out?
Yeah. So, of course, if you want to, who's this YouTube channel again? WNY.
Yep,
Coasters. If you want to check out their YouTube channel, the link will be in the description below, of course, along with the link to the original video if you want to check it out for yourself. And, of course, if you want to follow us on our respective platforms, the link will be in the description for those as well. Anything else you want to add?
Yes. I think we stumbled on a whole new reactions here because there's some history in here. So we might do some coaster stuff too.
Well, I like roller coasters.
You know, I like the history of theme parks. I have a Cedar Point jacket that I used to work. I still have it. Obviously, I couldn't get it to work right with me. But yeah, we're gonna throw another history video in of Cedar Point, or parks. or what the future holds. Because rumor had, well, we all know that Wicked Twister's gone.
Wicked Twister.
Off the beach. By the Ferris wheel.
The one that...
Yeah, that one.
Okay, yeah, that one.
So we know that one's gone. Antique Cars and Frontier Challenge gone. That was the one you just drove on the track.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that one's gone. Rumor has a dragster might be on its way out if they can.
Well,
but I don't
keeps
think
having issues.
But I don't think they're gonna get rid of that because that's their staple, and that will leave Six Flags with the only other strata coaster.
They could just come up with something new.
Yeah, but that coaster has its issues. Even King the Cow, just the sibling of the dragster, because Six Flags basically. Fun fact about that before we get out of here, because King the Cow and dragster opened the same year. Only I take that back. Only about like a couple of months apart. So when you look at King the Ka and Dragster, they're the same exact coaster. The only difference is King the Ka has the bunny hills at the end to differentiate between the two.
Okay.
And it's painted in green.
Ah.
But nope. On that note,
to avoid lawsuits.
Yeah. But on that note, we'll catch you guys when we catch you, and you know, hey, drop a line if you want some more stuff. Hit us up. Email us. We take topics.
In the comments.
We got an email too, y'all. Hit the email. Email, comments. Do it all. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, y'all.